I am sure that you heard by now that Beyonce is taking on the IRS court. So Beyonce was audited for her 2018 and 2019 expenses from her tax filing. Once the audit was complete, there were several of her expenses that were disallowed, which resulted in her owing the IRS an additional amount in excess of $800,000 for 2018 and $1.4 million for 2019. And with those amounts, there's interest and there is penalties that are associated with that as well too. So you're looking at additional money on top of the disallowed expenses that cause the additional tax. So some of the expenses that, after taking a look at all the documents, some of the expenses that were disallowed were, I actually wrote them down, were utilities, legal and professional fees, taxes, management fees, insurance, depreciation, and quite a few other expenses that were looped in, that were all grouped together as other expenses, but they were probably just minute and smaller, which mean they weren't broken up into separate categories. They were just considered to be other expenses. So, as an entertainer, a lot of this appears to be that they can be absolutely legitimate. I mean, if you keep up with Beyonce, then you already know for 2018, that is when she did Coachella, and she actually had her On the Run 2 tour. So I'm pretty sure there were quite a few of expenses that were associated with that. And in 2019, she was involved with the Lion King project and put out new music for that. It was very involved. So a lot of these expenses seem like they can be definitely legitimate expenses. I suspect that the problem is that she was not able to substantiate those expenses with documentation, with records, with anything showing that they were legitimate. So they disallowed them. And when I say they, the IRS. And also when I say Beyonce, let's be clear. I certainly do not mean Beyonce herself is putting this together and this is a result of something she did wrong. Because I'm pretty sure that Beyonce has a team of people, a team of consultants, a team of accountants, CPAs, attorneys that work on her behalf to document her accounting, her monthly bookkeeping, as well as her year-end tax filing. So I don't think for a second that she individually has been doing her own accounting and just couldn't account for all of these things that took place. I do understand that this has all has been her team. And so, as a result of it, her team believes, she believes that these are legitimate expenses. So, what has she done? She has petitioned the court to where she has say, hey, I don't agree with this. I need the courts to take a look at it. And so this is a very good teaching moment. So if you're working with your tax professional, your CPA, and they're constantly asking you, okay, we need documentation or we need to substantiate this, because in the event that the IRS reaches out to you for any information that you report to them and they need supporting documentation on it, you need to be able to provide it. They need to see that these expenses were just necessary in nature, ordinary, and that it was needed for the type of business that you operate. So when your CPA asks you for different information, they're not trying to be difficult. They just want to make sure that the information that they are reporting is correct. Because if it gets to the IRS level and there's an audit and they start asking about different numbers that's on a tax filing, you will need to substantiate it. Because if you can't, this is what happens. They are disallowed, and you end up having a big fat liability to the IRS, and they say, "Hey, pay up." But Beyonce is not having it. She's like, "This is legitimate. These are expenses. This is what we use our money on for me to be a great entertainer that I am." So she is taking on the courts. So what will happen is that it will go to the court level. They will then review and then make their determination on what will happen with those expenses, if they will continue to be disallowed or if they will be entered in as they were for the first tax filing. So I'm going to be keeping up with this story as we get more information about it as they progress through the actual petition, and there starts to be some conversation about what's happening. I'll do another video for you guys so you can be aware and just kind of be in the loop on it. But I wish them all good luck because the expenses really seems like they can be reasonable for the type of job that she does. She's an entertainer. And so all of these things seems as if they would be legitimate, but again, just because they're legitimate, you have to be able to substantiate it. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with it, and I'll keep you guys posted. So I look forward to seeing y'all in the next video.